Hey guys, it's Dragon Ball for Life here, and today I want to talk about my problems with modern day Dragon Ball as a whole. Basically, when I say modern day Dragon Ball, I don't just mean Dragon Ball Super, because usually when people complain about how, the problems with Dragon Ball nowadays, they usually tend to focus on Super itself. And I do think Super has a lot of problems and is the biggest contributor to this problem that I have in particular. But I do think that it's not fair to just bash Dragon Ball Super for this problem, seeing as how it came even before this. And when I mean like modern day Dragon Ball, I mean since it's come back basically from Dragon Ball Minus to Battle of Gods, then Resurrection of F, Dragon Ball Super, then the Broly movie, and maybe the new movie that's coming out, but it hasn't come out yet, so I can't really talk about that. So I want to talk about the other stuff that's come out from Dragon Ball and my problems with it. I have actually two problems, but one of the problems I have a big. This is really important to me personally, but the other one is also a big problem, just not as much to me. So the first problem is the writing. I feel like the writing has gotten far worse. A lot of people say, well, Dragon Ball's writing was never like really like amazing, and that's true, but it's fine if the writing is simplistic and basic as long as it's consistent and at least entertaining. But what it's become now is very inconsistent, and I haven't really found much entertainment from it. Yes, there are stuff that I like, but a lot of times I'm more either annoyed or angry about stuff that's been happening, and I feel like it's gone downhill. Not only because Toriyama obviously has gotten to the point where I think he's too old, and his memory's not only failing him, but I don't think he has the passion or drive for making Dragon Ball content. I think the only reason he came back was one, money, two, the Dragon Ball Evolution movie did bad, and that kind of like pissed him off. But besides that, he's not really doing this from a writing standpoint of love or creativity. And you can clearly see this scene as how he basically let Toyotaro do all the manga and let Toei do all the anime, except just giving here and there a few rough drafts for like the story writing. And even when he does take control of the helm, like with you know, Dragon Ball Minus or a Resurrection of F, I think he drops the ball. I think he's kind of lost his touch. And I don't want to say this, but if I'm being honest, I think he's kind of a has-been at this point. His writing, like I said, was never perfect, but it always had some level of consistency. It had some level of entertainment, and even stuff that I didn't like, I could at least enjoy it. Whereas the new stuff, I feel like I don't know, he's just throwing anything on the wall, or most likely for me, I feel like a lot of times he's being lazy and taking easy routes out. Instead of writing new and interesting stories, he just does the same things, brings back the same characters or similar characters, and I feel like he's kind of lost his touch at this point. People want to blame Toyotaro or Toei Animation, and they do have their problems, but in the end of the day, whatever problem or inconsistency we see in the writing, it's still on Toriyama's shoulders, because not only does he write these rough drafts, he also supervises whatever scripts that they write. And yeah, you can say, well, he doesn't write the whole thing, but still, from what I see, he just gives bullet points, and that isn't enough for them to go off of. And on top of that, if they have something that doesn't make sense or is inconsistent or badly written, he should be obligated as the creator of this franchise and the owner to, I don't know, care enough about his writing to look it over and say, hey, yeah, this isn't gonna work, let's change this. The only things that he's really changed is some artwork stuff. We've seen with Toyotaro, they said that some of the manga panels he drew, and he was like, we can make it a little more violent looking and vicious. And I was like, okay, that's not bad, but that's not the biggest problem that we have with Dragon Ball. It's the writing and the consistency. It's not, they don't look tough enough, or the battles don't look vicious enough. That's good, but that's just aesthetics. We're talking about the more importance about the story. That's the most important thing. And the fact that he doesn't really care enough about that, he's only caring about the art problems, it's like, that's nice, but it doesn't really do much of the story. It's kind of trash, you know? So I think that's what he should be focusing more on. And I saw his bad. You can tell he had bad writing from Dragon Ball Minus. I think Dragon Ball Minus is a big mistake. He should have never made it. I know a lot of people saying, well, technically the Bardock story wasn't canon, and now that he wrote it as canon. I'm just like, well, you do know that he's the owner and the creator of the series. He could have simply just said, hey, I like this piece. I know I didn't create it, but I'm going to consider it officially a part of the story now. He could have simply done that, you know? He didn't have to rewrite it in short chapters and kind of ruin it. And like, I don't want to go on to it too much because I'll probably make a whole video about my problems with Dragon Ball Minus. But I think that he kind of phoned it in. He was like, it had very rush pacing. It was like a short, it's like a little mini series, you know? It's like a little mini chapters and stuff. So obviously it's gonna be rush short. I mean, it didn't make much sense, and he kind of messed up the time and like chronology of the story itself. So I felt like there was a lot of problems with Dragon Ball Minus as a whole. And let's be honest, us as fans, we ourselves didn't even like it either. So we can be like, oh, it's not a problem. It is. He wrote Dragon Ball Minus. We all hated it just because the original Bardock, father of Goku special was technically not canon because it wasn't written by him. Doesn't mean it was bad. Everybody loved it. He even loved it. The only reason he did this because he thought he was like, oh, I should make my own. And let's be honest, I think this was a lazy way to do like a backstory stuff because you already have established an established story with Bardock because we already had the special. Instead of that, he could have created a different, you know, backstory. I'm fine with doing like a year zero type of thing where you're going back in the past and trying to look at like, you know, before all this stuff started. But I think giving us the whole, you know, Bardock situation with Frieza blowing up the planet and stuff, I think it wasn't necessary. We already had one, and I felt like it was lazy. If he really wanted to do something creative, he could have done some backstory on Majin Buu and like, as you know, because they say he's an entity that was created from evil. So we could have saw how he was created as like, you know, Kid Buu, all the evil stuff he did, how Bobbity got in, Bibbidi, I think it was, got interacted with him and how he got a hold of him and all this stuff. They could have done that, or they could have just done a whole backstory on King Cold and Frieza's backstory, you know, where they came from, the name of their race, all this other stuff. That would have been far more interesting and unique than this. But I felt like he took this because it was the easier route, because he basically had already pre-established story right there. All he had to do was tweak it here and there. And even those tweaks, he kind of messed it up. But all he had to do was tweak it here and there and doesn't have to write anything special. Whereas the other ones, he has to write all from scratch, which to me seems far better because, you know, it's stuff that we haven't seen. It's something new. But that's not his only problem. Resurrection of F, I also didn't like the idea of that, of just bringing Frieza back and making him magically get stronger, and then him becoming the whole plot of the movie was he wanted revenge. Like, obviously, we know what his goals and motives are, and that's why I didn't like the movie, because I felt like the story is too basic. Like, we knew what was going to happen. It was nothing special. It seems like Toriyama wants to take the easy route. Instead of writing a new character or a new creative like enemy or villain, he wrote down just the same one. And then we have Broly, and I know a lot of people love Broly, but once again, he brought back an old character that had a pre-established story, just redid it in his own way. You know, people say he did it better, but let's be honest. Would you rather want a better written Broly story, or would you rather want a new, unique character written and a new story that's just, you know, good? I'd rather have that. I feel like he relies too much on his old stuff and doesn't write anything new. And now he has the new movie coming out, and it might be interesting, but I feel like, once again, he's going on old stuff because now the Red Ribbon Army is back. It's like, how? Why do you keep on doing this? You did this with Dragon Ball Minus, you did this with Frieza coming back, you did this with Broly, and now you're doing this with this movie with the Red Ribbon Army. You just keep on treading old stories and trying to like force feed to us like it's something new. It's not. I'm sick and tired of seeing him give us this crap, you know? And the worst part is, not only does he give us this crap, but us as fans, we just accept it. Apparently it's fine that he doesn't care enough about his own property and just slaps this. And I know he doesn't care because he literally, there was an interview or something where he talking about how he grown to hate Dragon Ball and he despised it. And the only reason he came back was out of spite from, you know, Dragon Ball Evolution disrespecting him, which is not a good reason to write back a story. You're not doing it because of love and you enjoy the story. You're doing it because you want to stick it to somebody else in some like revenge reason. Like, it's not a good way to write back your story. And like I said, it's too basic and lazy. I'm not asking for some out of this world writing. I'm not asking for some deep, thought provoking writing. I don't care about that stuff. All I care about is some good, consistent, new writing, at least something unique, something entertaining. This is not. I don't like it. A lot of people might be fine with it, but I feel like he's giving us, bottom of the barrel and just throwing that crap in our face. And for some reason, us as fans are just accepting it because it's Toriyama and it's new story. That doesn't matter. I think that's the problem with a lot of Dragon Ball fans, and this is why a lot of people see Dragon Ball fans as unintelligent. Is because no matter what crap Toriyama throws to us, we just eat it up. We shouldn't be doing that. If it's good written stuff, yes, you can love it and you can be proud about it. But if it's badly written stuff, you have to at least be honest with yourself. You can still like it, but be honest with yourself and say, hey, look, this story wasn't that well written. A lot of the stuff didn't make much sense. It was kind of lazy. I felt like he was phoning it in, but I still found some entertainment from it. But don't sit here and tell me that this is a great written story or his writing is good. No, it's not. And people keep on blaming Toriyama Animation or Toyotaro for any bad writing. Like Toriyama, once again, he's checking this stuff. He could see it and write it off, but he's not. So it's his fault. And on top of that, when he does get the control of the helm, what does he do with it? He writes the same crappy stories himself, and it contradicts himself most of the time. So he's not nothing special either. You can't give him leeway. And I'm sick and tired of this whole he's the creator mentality. So if it's canon or if it's a part of the writer wrote this, then it's good. And if he didn't, somebody else did, then it's bad. That's not how it works. Good writing is just good writing. It doesn't matter who it comes from. It doesn't matter if it's canon or not. The Bardock special was far better than Dragon Ball Minus. You can't tell me that just because Toriyama wrote it and because it's official that it's better than and the Bardock special. The Bardock special was far superior. It felt more like Dragon Ball than Dragon Ball Minus felt like Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball Minus didn't feel like it was even a part of the same continuity. And then he ruined the whole backstory of the Saiyans, and Goku's age was out of sync. So he himself doesn't know what he's doing at this point. I don't know why we're taking him serious at all. So I don't like that. But that's just one point. My biggest problem is definitely the power scaling. And I know. A lot of people in the Dragon Ball community don't give a crap about the power scaling. They're like, who cares how powerful these characters are, or who could they be to this and that stuff? All that matters is, we got something entertaining or a good battle. I'm sorry, I can't take that. There's me and a bunch of other Dragon Ball fans and anime fans that love power scaling and like to have some consistency with our power scaling. And it does matter. People can't just say it doesn't. Because why would we care about a fight it doesn't matter about who would, the amount of power they have, it doesn't matter. Because then it's whoever wins is just whoever the writer wants to win. It doesn't matter. You can't argue that why did this character beat that character. They won because power scale doesn't matter. It does matter. It has a point. And in story writing, this is basically called I forgot what it's called, but it's basically you're breaking the belief of disbelief. That's what they call it. So a lot of people, they go into a movie, an action movie or whatever, they don't expect something ridiculous. They are not expecting it to be realistic. And if there's these ridiculous stuff happening, they let it go. Like in the Fast and Furious franchise, a lot of crazy stuff happens. People let it go. But then once when Fast 9 came out, they went too crazy to the point where even the fans were like, okay, at this point, it's just getting ridiculous. It breaks the immersion. I just can't believe it. That's how I feel about Dragon Ball right now. Before, it's yeah, I can believe this character could beat that character. But now it's I can't even tell who would win in a fight between each other in their own universe, So it's I can't really judge who would win in a fight. It's just hard to do that. And the power scaling, like I said, is awful. A lot of people try to defend the power scaling, but they aren't defending it because it's the power scaling is actually good and people are misinterpreting it. They're just saying that because they don't want to admit that the power scaling doesn't make any sense. They're backtracking, they're going back and forth, moving the goalposts, they're doing all this other ridiculous stuff just to prove their point that, no, the power scaling makes sense. No, it doesn't. If you have to force the puzzle into the piece, then it just doesn't fit there. Just don't even try to put it in there. Don't cram it in there or cut corners to fit in there because it's never going to work. That's just not how it works, The power scaling has been awful. And I will say this. Dragon Ball Minus didn't have any real power scaling problems, but then again, it didn't have really any battles. And then we got into Battle of Gods. I love Battle of Gods. It was a great movie. But I would say they had a few problems. I don't like the fact that Vegeta just got strong by getting angry. I mean, he got angry against Cell, yet he didn't achieve some insane power to beat up Cell. I mean, Cell, the difference between the amount of power that he would need to beat up Cell was less than the amount of power he used to hurt Beerus. It's just ridiculous to me that he could do that. It would have been one thing if he obtained Super Saiyan 3 doing that and then surpassed Goku, then I'm like, okay, it's fine. But him surpassing Super Saiyan 3 Goku just by getting angry and not even transforming, that isn't enough for me, you know? But Battle Gods at least had only minor problems. When you go over to Resurrection of F, I think this is where I almost gave up at this point on the Dragon Ball story, because I was like, not only did you bring back an old villain, which I hate that in any story or any writing, to bring back an old villain instead of just giving us new ones. Like, leave the past in the past. He was dead a long time ago. Just leave it be. Don't bring him back up just because he's a fan favorite. You're just doing this off of, like, trying to get fan service or nostalgia points. You're not doing this because you actually care about the story itself. So he brought him back, and I was annoyed. I was pissed, but I was like, maybe he might write something creative way he can get power up. Maybe some magical thing happens. Maybe he knows something special. But no, it was just him training. It was just him training, especially in the anime. They explained he was just beating his subordinate Togoma the entire time, and he got this crazy power boost. Which I was like, okay, that's kind of lazy. All he did was use this man as a punching bag, and somehow he became able to surpass Super Saiyan Blue Goku. Like, the power scaling just made no sense. Him being that powerful, I just don't like it. Him being that powerful in 4 months, him being that powerful within one transformation. He surpassed Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3, God, and Blue with one transformation. Surpassed decades, or like at least a decade and a half of training with Goku and Vegeta against powerful beings, obtaining godly form, and the God Key being absorbed into their base, and then having these other transformations on top of it within 4 months. How am I supposed to believe that? And people saying, well, technically, he said he's never trained a day in his life. That doesn't make it. It still doesn't make any sense. There still has to be a limit to how much more powerful he can get. Just saying that, well, he hasn't trained a day in his life, so he can get as strong as he possibly can. That doesn't make any sense. There still has to be consistency for it. It broke my immersion completely. I was like, you know what? I get it. People say Dragon Ball is a parody of itself, but at this point, I 100% agree that it is. I mean, people were joking about how, One Punch Man, they had Saitama go from like a regular human to a superpowered being by doing 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and running 10 kilometers a day, which they're like, oh, this is poking fun at the anime trope where they train a bit and they become ridiculously powerful. But the whole point of that was it was supposed to be a joke and a spoof on that trope. But then we have Frieza literally doing that in a legit franchise that isn't trying to be making parodies, trying to be serious, and he gets this ridiculous power-up, and nobody's batting an eye saying this is stupid. They're saying, oh, that makes sense. No, it doesn't. You can't be looking at One Punch Man and be laughing, huh, that's funny, that's a good riff on that trope. And then see it happening in Dragon Ball and be like, it makes sense. No, it doesn't. It's either ridiculous or it's not. You can't have both, And for me, I think it is stupid that he was able to get that. I think it's more ridiculous that he was able to achieve that much amount of power from his training in 4 months than Saitama getting that much amount of power from his training. And Saitama is a parody character, whereas he's supposed to be a legit character, so that's even more embarrassing. So I felt that whole movie as a whole just didn't make sense with power scaling. It was just terrible. I was like, you know what? They could have simply brought a new character, somebody else different. It's fine if they mention Frieza, but just don't bring him back, and it kind of ruined it for me. And then, Dragon Ball Super as a whole, there's multiple controversies between the fans. There's one group of fans saying, no, the power scale is fine. The other says it's bad. There's a ton of, power scaling problems that one side of the fans are having a problem with and the other side's arguing. And whether the side that's complaining about it is incorrect or not, there's a reason why they're complaining. They wrote it in a way where the power scaling looks bad. Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, they both had the power scaling problems, but the fans weren't this divided. The fans weren't always arguing about everything. There wasn't this much controversy with the power scaling as it is in modern time. Modern time has been crazy. And Broly, once again, bringing back an old character and stuff. But my bigger problem is his power. Like, he landed on a planet full of giant bug creatures, studied there for 40 years, and somehow became strong enough to, throw hands with Vegeta and Goku also in their base form, which is should be way stronger than Super Saiyan God at this point. He's able to throw hands with that and even get stronger in a short amount of time, surpassing all that power. And people say, well, he was on this plan where he had to fight every day. First of all, he's against bug creatures. I'm sorry, but that's not really that impressive. I mean, Vegeta as a kid trained against Cybermen, and he would wipe them all out. And guess what? These Cybermen were equivalent to Raditz, and Raditz is beyond a moon-busting character. He can destroy a moon and take a moon-busting attack easily. He can do that easily. And Vegeta was fighting dozens of them as children, wiping them all out. You're telling me Broly fighting a bunch of giant bug creatures and taking out these bug creatures that are not even anywhere near moon level? That's impressive and makes sense? And these guys were fighting Cell and the androids and Frieza. These are bigger threats than anything he could have faced on that lame-ass planet, let's be honest. And then him gradually getting stronger throughout the fight, just like... last time I checked, he's still a Saiyan. You do know that that's not how Saiyan's Zenkai boosts work. They only get stronger after they're beaten and like revived or healed up. He's getting stronger as he fights. How come this never happened for Goku and Vegeta? And don't use that whole, he's a legendary Super Saiyan. These guys are gods at this point. What's more impressive, a god or a legend? I'm sorry, but a god. I don't care if he's Super Saiyan, he's the legendary Super Saiyan. That doesn't mean crap anymore at this point. It was fine when it was in the original Broly movie, because at that point they were Super Saiyan at most. Some could argue that, Gohan was on the cusp of Super Saiyan 2, but still, they were only Super Saiyan at most, so it was fine. Now they're at ridiculously high levels. That doesn't make sense. Also, he obtained this new form, the Kario, whatever form it's called. It's basically bringing the ape form into his base. It's like, this guy's a moron. How did this idiot be able to be smart enough to think of this technique when Vegeta, the Prince of all Saiyans, who could control that ape form, didn't do it himself? And also, let's be honest, these guys jumped from like base to Super Saiyan God. This guy went to this great ape multiplier, which is only 10 times. They went through Super Saiyan to Super Saiyan God, which is at least hundreds upon hundreds of times more powerful than in his base. And guess what? He was able to surpass that just by 10-time multiplier. See, it's inconsistent right there. The whole fight, he went from, being beaten up by base of Vegeta to whooping both Super Saiyan Blue, Goku, and Vegeta to the point where they have to run away, they have to fuse. And even in their fusion, you would assume that, hey, Super Saiyan alone would be enough. Nope. They had to go to Blue right away, the most powerful form they had there. And guess what? It was still not destroying him. People could say, people want to complain about, well, he was actually dominating him. Guess what? One, he was not. He was actually taking the licks and he was hitting him back, and he took a Stardust Breaker and survived. Of anything, he should have been obliterated with one punch. So that's not even an argument. And also, the bigger problem for me is it just doesn't make any sense that, that they would need a fuse, and especially go that far of a level just to compete with them. The fact that people are proud that, they were whooping in that form. Why do they need to go Super Saiyan Blue to beat him in that form? He's just a Super Saiyan. The fact that you're fused, it's like, at this point, it's like, why have Goku and Vegeta of Broly can surpass them that easily? So you see, I don't like the Broly film either because of the power scaling. I just think the power scaling in general was god-awful. They made Super Saiyan Blue look pathetic, and I'll make a video about it. I tried to make a video before, but there's some problems. But I'm going to make a video about it again, explaining my problems with Super Saiyan Blue, because I absolutely hate that form, and I hate the writing that has come out of Dragon Ball. I feel like the power scaling makes no sense. And like I said, I know Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z had their own problems with power scaling, but when you compare it to just even Super alone, it has not only more power scaling problems and inconsistencies, but it has it on a bigger scale too. They just destroy the immersion for anybody that want to take it even remotely serious. I don't know why fans are accepting this crap. They're serving us trash, and instead of us having a problem with it and saying, hey, Toriyama, you can't be doing this. We're big fans of this series and we loved it, and you're giving us half-assed work. Give us something that we actually want. Actually put in some effort into this. Don't just sit on there and say, I'm just going to write this because it's easy and it'll make me money. You have to work for it. At this point, I've grown from absolutely loving the Dragon Ball franchise to despising it. And I don't want to do that. I love Dragon Ball. I literally make a Dragon Ball YouTube channel called Dragon Ball for Life. No matter what, I'm still going to love Dragon Ball, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to have problems with it and call out the problems that I don't like. I'm not gonna sit here like every fan like this was good, that was good. No, I have a problem. I have serious problems with this. I have serious problems with the writing and the power scaling, and both those things for me go hand in hand. When the power scaling is bad, the writing is bad. It's just inconsistencies all around. I'm sick and tired of this. I like to say I hope that it gets better, but I feel like it might not. Even though the manga right now with like the Granola arc is amazing and I love it, I still can't erase all the problems in the past with Resurrection of F, with the rest of Dragon Ball Super, and with Broly. I can't erase that. I'm not gonna accept it. They need to do better, or we as fans need to hold our standards higher. Okay, well, that's pretty much it for this video. I know I ranted quite a bit, but this is just something I need to get off my chest because I love Dragon Ball, and when you love something so much that they do some stuff wrong, you get annoyed and you just want to scream about it, you know? So, with that being said, have a good day.